This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started bleeding out and bleeding just for love, but they continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started bleeding out and bleeding just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started bleeding out and bleeding just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. Never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started bleeding out and bleeding just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because. This is the trial that never ends, and it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started bleeding out and bleeding just for love, and they'll continue doing it forever just because.
Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. You saw the thumbnails and you saw the title. So you know what we're about to do. We're about to go over and discuss some of these court cases that have been popping off recently. Shout out to We Watch YouTube, who put together that fantastic montage of just some of the thumbnails that I've done over the last couple months. Amazing. I didn't realize how many I had done. I didn't realize how many videos I've done. Good gracious, man. Thank y'all so much for stopping through on this morning. Real quick, news flash. Whitaker Park is sort of kind of dry, but no problems at all. No trees down, no power outage, no issues like that. I am going to take President Firstborn to work, because sometimes when we leave other community, you'll find out later on there was a tree down at an entrance or something of that nature. So I'm going to take President Firstborn to work if she has work later on today. But besides that, though, I appreciate all you all checking in, whether it was from text messages, here in the chat, emails. I think somebody even sent me a message, direct message in Twitter. Everything is fine. Thank you so much for checking on us. And as far as I can tell, around this neighborhood, around my hood, if you will, all has been well. So definitely praying for those people who had real problems, but Whitaker Park and Dear Will Christian studios has been perfectly fine. So thank you so much for checking on us. Today we got a lot to talk about. I got a lot I want to get off my chest. Now, we are going to give, since we've had 2 days of no trial in YSL, I think it would be pretty good and pretty smart to kind of give anybody who's jumping in on this YSL trial, kind of give them a jumping on point, give them a little bit of a high view of what's been going on, so they can kind of say, oh, I know what's happening. So when we go back to trial, hopefully on Monday, you can be up to speed to some degree, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of us have been traveling on this thing for 100 miles per hour, and you might not get up to 100 miles per hour, but we at least can get you to, a safe highway speed. So before we do anything, check it out.
Welcome back to Season 4 of As the Peach Rots. In this suspenseful 4th season, we marinate the feeder of Georgia's political elite in the tangy vinegar of accountability. In a state where the odor of mendacity toxifies the air, our perspicacious team of chatroom investigators is on a mission to peel back the layers of deceit and uncover the truth. From backroom deals to embezzlement scandals, no stone is left unturned in our pursuit of justice. But as tensions rise and alliances shift, who can be trusted in the Peach State? Join us for a season ripe with virality, where even the fruit isn't safe from corruption, because sometimes the juiciest scandals are right under your nose.
So again, shout out to We Watch YouTube. And you probably have said it to yourself, like, man, this is like a soap opera. So one day We Watch YouTube started sending me these entries, and we call it as the Peach Rots, because of course Georgia's the Peach State. And this is just like a big old giant soap opera. Good, bad, and different. This is a horrible soap opera. So that's what we're talking about. Now, real quick, I want to give you all, especially if you're new to the Young Thug case, I'm thinking about maybe even going back in time and start pulling up some previous days of trial, even with the early trial with Glanville and when there were multiple defendants. Think about doing that just to give you all just a really deep dive into this. But I figured this would be probably the next best thing. In the chat, I just dropped a link to this article that we're going over. And this is just a very basic timeline of the Young Thug case up to about May of this year. So it gives you a pretty good idea. And this little clip, we'll watch this in a second as well, but I just want to go over this very quickly. Atlanta rapper is at the center of a high-profile trial that's been years in the making. Now, I do want you to pay close attention because we are going to come back and talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about Mr. Thug and why I think he's having this problem. And it's not for the reason that you think it is. So let's go real quick. Back in May 2022, the hip hop world was jolted. You know, we're going to jolt this screen, make it a little bit bigger. How about that? I'm going to jolt that. How about that? All right. I like that. That's good. All right. Was jolted with the news that the rapper Young Thug, a Grammy-winning trend-setting Atlanta icon, had been arrested. I kind of remember that, but I really wasn't processing it at that point. But let's keep going. It's been 2 years now, and the artist whose legal name is Jeffrey Williams has remained behind bars. The central charge against him is that the three letters which his name has become synonymous because of his artistic success has launched the Young Stoner Life label, YSL, actually signalize a violent gang, Young Slime Life. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis named Williams among other Metro rappers and those with ties to the alleged gang to bring charges against a total of 28 people in the sweeping 88-page indictment. And the case alleges that not only is Young Thug among the gang's members, he is the kingpin. He is the one they're all afraid of, prosecutors said on at a June 2022 hearing. He's the one that's King Slime. A long pretrial process passed to an even longer jury selection process. And across this time, the co-defendant list dwindled with plea deals and other circumstances, keeping some of the individuals charged from remaining on the case. The trial finally began in earnest on November 2023. So we're now on a year, already considering the longest in Georgia history. And that's by a mile, definitely by a mile. Continue. Now that it is in full swing, 11 Alive is keeping track in key developments of the case and highlighting moments of the courtroom. Follow along for the timeline below. And we're going to watch this video very quickly. So I thought it was interesting. Again, if you're new to this trial or you haven't been keeping up with this trial or whatever like that, you maybe want to say, hey, what is this all about? Why is this important? And I thought it would be good to kind of give you a little lay of the land, so to speak. So let's bring this back in and let's let you do that. Let's go.
Listen, guys, this is what he doing. Listen, guys, this is what he doing.
Jeffrey, I feel like I used to hate that name so much, but now I'm understanding the name.
In order to truly understand the brand known to the world as Young Thug, we got to work backwards and really look at not only the evolution of Jeffrey, the star qualities of Young Thug, the rise of YSL, but we got to work backwards to where it all started.
Y'all versus South, I love y'all. I want to be who I really am. I'm really Jeffrey.
I'm Young Thug, aka Jeffrey. I'm John versus South. Born there, stayed there, still there. I'm 19. I like rapping. I like money too.
What was one of the first times you heard of Young Thug?
I would say personally for me, I started paying attention in 2011. That's when he was featured on a mixtape by Rich Kids, $100 autograph. And for many of us in Atlanta, that was our introduction to Young Thug. And then what we started to see was that was also around the same time that the confidence started to match the work ethic. And then he took off.
Next thing you know, you're gonna hear about a $10, $15 million deal, man, Live. You're looking at it right now. You're looking at a $10, $15 million deal, man, in the future, you know what I'm saying?
At first glance, his come-up story is similar to a lot of other artists in Atlanta. You find a way to make it out of harsh conditions. You're handed nothing but hard times. Winning under those kind of circumstances gives you an extra layer of resiliency where you're prepared for anything life throws at you. What is it like to chase your dream in Atlanta? To start off with nothing, start off in Jonesboro South, start off in Zone 3, start off in Sylvan Hill with nothing.
It would be likened to the idea, or similar to the thought of walking in a store and buying a lottery ticket that hit the Mega Millions. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, in that case, he didn't come from, a family that knew how to get him in front of people. Man, these kids were running the streets lost.
Another night of crime in an Atlanta public housing development.
My name is Tyrone Dennis. I'm a retired Atlanta police detective. There are 6 zones. Zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Zone 1 is your west side. Zone 2 is Buckhead, north end of the city. Zone 3 is towards the south. Zone 4 is southwest. Zone 5 is downtown, midtown, things like that. Zone 6 is East Atlanta. When you say you're from these different housing projects, it's almost like a stamp badge of I got it out the mud. So
Jonesboro South, Cleveland Avenue, especially during 80s, 90s, it's a Black community. Predominantly Black community.
Jonesboro South, to this day, when you say that name, it still resonates with Atlanta because it means something and it represents something. Before it was demolished in 2009, it raised generations of Atlanta from the moment it was constructed in 1970 up until 2009. So there's a sense of nostalgia to it that even though it's gone, it still represents and reflects an era that was so important to this city and to the culture.
But at the same time, there's crime, it's high crime, a lot of drug dealing, just a lot of, poverty over there.
I see people get shot.
Anybody can get hurt out here.
When you from Cleveland to Jonesboro Road, man, like Jonesboro South and where I'm from, like, if you really put your mind to something, no matter what, there's some street, gonna get some money. I've been rocking before the music. Oh, I already knew that was gonna be big. I ain't know he was gonna be dead big. He didn't have a talent at the time that was easily recognizable by the people who were in position. So he kind of had to work a Rubik's Cube to find himself in a position to not only where he could present his art to people, to where the people he was presenting to could actually understand the art he was presenting. And he really built an entire...
He was ahead of its time.
Completely ahead of it. It's still ahead of its time today.
I mean, I ain't gonna say it came overnight. I ain't gonna say I wanted to do it. I've been knew how to rap. A long time ago, I've been knew how to rap. Nobody didn't believe in me.
His voice was so distinctive. It was like, wow, this is like something that we've never heard before. So it was like a very interesting style of rap that we had never really heard before.
I met Thug through Pee Wee Longway.
Pee Wee Longway, someone he grew up with in Jonesboro South, ended up introducing Thug to Gucci in a recording studio. And that very moment really catapulted his career because it took that connection for everything else to make sense in his career.
So did you know he was going to be a star?
All right, I got to jump in here real quick. I want you to remember, and please pay attention to some of the people that Young Thug associated with as he's continue to move up the ranks. T.I., which is a very popular, grounded Atlanta rapper. Gucci Mane. Now we're looking at Pee Wee Longshot. Just pay attention to these names. And even if you're not tapped in, because I had to, trust me, I had to do some background too. All of this is going to make sense later on when we discuss why I think Young Thug is in the trouble that he's in. So let me bring this back in. Let's go.
And then when I knew, you know.
And then from that day on, that same day, Thug didn't leave the studio. He spent the night there.
It's like somebody put something in their body or something. Like he different.
But Young Thug was able to kind of just like put out songs and you know, especially in Atlanta, they became club hits.
My people, that's my best friend, that's my best friend. Bless me.
We're creative people, we're hardworking people, and more importantly, we're people that have dealt with so many things that went against us that we're built for this too.
Yeah, let's go. Got an X stain on her jeans. I know she good with others.
Yeah, when was the first time you felt like Gunna started to take off?
I mean, here in Atlanta, we've been paying attention to Gunna before he blew up. I was hosting a 2018 showcase for BMI. It was kind of like the Who Got Next in Atlanta. And I would even say that was around the same time that the YSL brand really became synonymous with Atlanta music and the record label took off. So for Gunna, it was important. For the label, it was important. And then the dynasty and the empire that Thug was building really went to another level.
Once he found himself in a position to offer, to reach back and pull people like Gunna, and through the vision, through the art and the execution of that art, a Young Thug, all of that was made possible. I don't really know anything about the other stuff that they're talking about because I haven't seen that.
In Atlanta today, we just learned minutes ago.
And more charges against the rapper Young Thug.
He is one of 28 people named in a massive gang indictment.
I always do my music as a form of artistic expression. And now I see that black artists, rappers, don't have that in the freedom.
The Grammy winner accused of founding a gang allegedly linked to several murders in Atlanta.
Many of the charges related to the indictment points to Young Thug's rap lyrics as evidence.
Take it to trial. Take this mother trial.
Good morning, Mr. Jeffrey Williams. Be aware that on this calendar you are here because you have been indicted under 22 SC 182273 for conspiracy to violate the racketeer influence and criminal street gang activity.
I'm concerned with a human being who's wrongly charged. I knew right away that he's been targeted for 10 years by the prosecution. This is a wrong prosecution, and I will defend him.
You're saying your client is completely innocent.
Mr. Williams is wrongly charged on every single count.
The rapper who goes by Young Thug, he's accused of racketeering, making terroristic threats, theft, renting a car used in a murder, and participating in a criminal street gang as one of its organizers.
It does not matter what your notoriety is, what your fame is. If you come to Fulton County, Georgia, and you commit crimes, and certainly if those crimes are in furtherance of a street gang, that you are going to become a target.
Take this mother trial.
Prosecutors and DA, they're actually listening. They're watching social media accounts. They're pretty much tracking these artists nationwide.
YSL is a record label that started in 2016, and the prosecution is saying that the record label is connected to street gang activity. It also goes on to say that YSL is a criminal street gang that started in 2012 off of Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta. And it claims the founder of all of this, the mastermind, was Jeffrey Williams. Right now, what we're seeing play out is two different descriptions of who Jeffrey Williams is. One is being portrayed by prosecutors, and the other one is being described by those closest to him.
Yes. My YSL means young successful life because that's something that he has created. He is a young successful man himself, but also he is helping more young men and young women.
He is the one that we're all afraid of. He's the one that's king slime. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge.
Jeffrey Williams is a father. He is a son.
I've also started a company with Jeffrey called Young Stoner Life. I wanted to back him personally and professionally.
As the district attorney of Fulton County, my number one focus is targeting gangs.
He's like the easy target. So if somebody gets arrested and gets in trouble and they want a deal, law enforcement officers are all too eager to say, well, tell us about Mr. Williams. Is he involved in this? What do you know about it?
The Jeffrey I know would take care of my kids. The Jeffrey I know will build a business and create multi-millionaires. The Jeffrey I know will make sure that his nieces and nephews and your nieces and nephews had the opportunity to go to school. So the Jeffrey they're talking about, I just don't know that Jeffrey.
So who's really on trial?
It's not about YSL. It's not about Gunna Thug. This is about freedom of speech.
The danger to others and the danger to the community. I'm going to set him for no bond at this point in time.
Jeffrey Williams is a hero, not a criminal.
It's protect Black art, protect our rights, protect our freedom of speech, protect creative expression.
We need to protect freedom of speech, especially when it comes to art.
My art is not a reflection of my character.
So who's really on trial?
This is not about YSL. It's not about Gunna Thug. This is about freedom of speech.
Straight from the bottom to the top of my lifestyle. We ran on no digit, we ran on that money. We ran on no digit, we ran on that money.
And I came from penny pinch. Came out to struggling.
Hi, my name is Kevin Lyles. It's no secret that people of color are under attack every day.
The petition really started to spread like wildfire on social media. As soon as it was posted, so many prominent artists started to speak on behalf of it and why it's needed. And then it garnered more than 60,000 signatures. And what it really is trying to do is it's trying to make a case for rap lyrics, that it does not, by any circumstances, belong in the courtroom.
Good morning, Mr. Jeffrey Williams. Be aware that on this calendar, you are here because you have been indicted.
Yeah, the indictment says the lyrics show involvement in some of the crimes that those people are accused of. But could there be First Amendment issues? Young Thug songs used as evidence with lyrics such as, I never killed anybody, but I got something to do with that body.
I never killed anybody, but I got something to do with that body.
If this is how the system treats them, then imagine how it treats other Black Americans day in and day out who aren't famous or well known.
When we see the Protect Black Art movement, it's in response to rap lyrics on trial time and time again. And what it's really doing is igniting decades-long conversation that we've been having.
We, the jury in above entitled action, find the defendant, Calvin Brodus, not guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
Now, the most notorious case involving lyrics in courtrooms is Snoop Dogg in 1996, where prosecutors ended up quoting lyrics in his legal case. And more recently, NBA YoungBoy's trial, where his music was also brought up in the courtroom by prosecutors, but the judge ended up excluding it as evidence. All those cases are just to name a few. The debate lies between artistic expression and real life experiences. And what it really comes down to is who is interpreting and for what reason.
Gangster rap has become incredibly popular and profitable by selling lyrics about black-on-black violence.
So we're not against rap. We're not against rap.
Rappers, but we are against those thugs.
Art has to be dangerous for it to be interesting. And art has always been a sense of danger. It has some type of danger in it.
That's what music is. We're able to tell a story with our lyrics. Whether it's their story or not, they're telling a story. So if you lose that art of storytelling, you're going to lose the art of music.
They say you're poor because you're black, right to your face.
Sometimes rappers, they exaggerate. Sometimes they say things that may not necessarily be true.
A lot of, if not most of, the artists come from the projects. They come from broken homes. So if that's the environment that you come from, that's what you're going to talk about.
I have some legal advice. Don't confess to crimes on rap lyrics if you do not want them used.
It should never be used in a courtroom unless the prosecution can show that that lyric is a admission or confession.
Black art, it seems like that's the only form of art that's ridiculed in that way, where prosecutors are using.
A lot of times people can't separate reality from fiction. However, it's very easily done when we're talking about films, very easily done when we're talking about video games. The people who created Grand Theft Auto, they're not being brought up on charges.
It's the rap music that creates this fear. It's not happening in other genre of music.
Johnny Cash said, I shot a man in Reno to watch him die. You know, I shot the sheriff. I didn't shoot no deputy. This ain't the first time, but it's rap music. And because it's rap music and it was born and bred out of some place that a lot of people don't understand, we're constantly attacked.
This is a nationwide conversation, but at the state level, with California, with New York, here in Georgia, with a legislation that's also proposed by Hank Johnson, there is this movement to protect lyrics from being used in courtrooms. And I feel like this is really the beginning. We're going to see it play out in other states as well.
I believe in the First Amendment. It's one of our most precious rights. However, the First Amendment does not protect people from prosecutors using it as evidence.
People are pulling lyrics from people's Instagram and their demo tapes and TikTok, and they're using this as evidence. We can't do that. It creates a horrible, horrible precedent. What's next?
Try me, almost got popped in Linux. Ask the cops, ask the detectives, they know all the business. Ask the cops and the detectives, all the jurisdictions.
I'm using those lyrics. I'm going to continue to do that. People can continue to be angry about it.
There's a lot on the line, no matter which side of the spectrum you agree with.
It has become so controversial because the same lyrics that have made some of these artists famous, from a law enforcement standpoint, they're incriminating.
We have to ask ourselves, why is this the only art form that is spoken of being brought into court? I think it's an attack on culture more than anything.
It's not an attack on hip hop. It's an attack on crime. You can't say I'm an artist, but still have your feet in the street doing crime.
This may be a watershed moment in hip hop where artists may be more careful about what they put out, and also the labels as well.
If Black art doesn't get protected, what will happen to the industry?
It's going to crumble, period.
Mr. Williams, good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Given what's been proffered thus far, I'm going to set him for no bond at this point in time. I'm not going to grant bond at this point in time. I'm going to deny bond at this time.
What does that say about the state of the culture?
I don't think it says anything about the state of the culture. I think what does it say about the state of our judicial system? And our country constantly reminds us every day how you are Black. You have a permanent tattoo, therefore you will be treated differently in this country.
Now is the time to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize.
But keep your feet underneath you. Keep moving.
When it's Black men in America, is it often guilty until found innocent?
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
I think that, the Black men have always been, the criminals or the villains that society could hang their hat on. Anytime there's a crime being committed, if someone says a Black person did it, they stop looking for any other option.
If we don't get it, if we don't get it,
unfortunately, Black men in our communities, in the poor sections of our communities, have been socially, politically, and economically and academically alienated. I wonder why, as a community, we're not seeing the bigger picture of, is that our culture? I think as a community, we're missing an opportunity to actually evolve our culture and change some things systemically.
We are going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's king slime.
Why does hip hop oftentimes feel like public enemy number one in courtrooms? Is it because it's misunderstood?
Well, for one, because it's honest.
It's a problem with the whole way of life. Can't change overnight.
Growth is a hell of a thing when you're allowed to grow.
I'm going to deny bond at this time.
This is a system not built to help you. I was a part of the problem myself. I grew up, single parent home, hood, locked up at 18, faced, all types of consequences because of my actions.
They don't want to see themselves as being part of the problem. They don't want to see themselves as ignoring a community that needs help when they have an opportunity and an ability to help them. It holds the mirror up.
But nobody's tackling the thing that causes all of this stuff, which is lack of education, poverty, value systems. Nobody wants to touch that stuff.
But why isn't this story being told?
Why isn't this story being told? Why is that story being told so much? What I have seen is a young man bring himself, his family, and the people around him up from nothing. And he's been selfless in doing so. That's what I saw.
This has been a conversation that's been happening for a long time. And what people like Kevin Liles are trying to do is connect the dots of societal issues and how this is a multi-layered problem that needs to be addressed systemically.
Violence erupted after the acquittal of 4 white policemen in the beating trial of Black motorist Rodney King.
We thought we saw the worst of it with Rodney King, but now we know we didn't. But now they're locking us up because of the very lyrics that 90% of the world loves today. We still have a systemic racist problem here in America. And I think that Protect Black Art is a movement to help get through this side of it, but that we have more things to deal with.
So you look at hip hop, you listen to it, you're influenced by it, but do you really understand what you're listening to? Do you know what it's a reflection of? Do you know what that person survived?
They're not trying to protect you, but you should be trying to protect yourself. The game is, to be honest, get in this, get all the money, all the relationships, you know what I mean? And then go do something that can fortify generational wealth.
Listen, guys, this is what he thought. I've been how to rap. Nobody didn't believe me.
You could say this is a deep dive into the life of Jeffrey Williams. You could also easily say this is a backwards domino effect into how we got here today and how we're hoping to spark the type of conversations that we're not seeing in the headlines.
Willis's case has proved controversial not for taking on violence, but for something she's doing in court, criminalizing art, poetry, and lyrics as evidence.
It's not justice for all. It's justice that's to make it make sense for those of us who are not us.
These are serious times. They're serious allegations. And it is my opinion that violence in our community deserves maximum penalties.
I just want to say thank you to all my friends and my family for coming out and supporting us. And your support during this time means a lot to us.
Jeffrey, I feel like I used to hate that name so much, but now I'm understanding the name.
All right. So I want to hear what y'all are thinking. I really wanted to hopefully give you all again, a lay of the land, especially if you're new to the Young Thug trial and some of the animus that's going on. It's not just because we want people to run around Atlanta. I live in Atlanta. I don't want crime in Atlanta. I used to teach on Cleveland Avenue. It is very possible that I might have taught some of these people or their children. It is very possible. But again, we don't want that. What we do want, however, is we want equal justice under the law. And we don't want an artist to be pinpointed and put between the crosshairs just because you don't like his music. I don't listen to Young Thug's music. You know, shout out to those that do. Shout out to those that do. But I want this young man to get a fair trial. And I don't feel like that's what's happening at all. So I want to hear what you all are thinking. I do have to make one slight change. I had intended, real quick, little caveat, and then I'll finish up. I had intended to talk about Eric Adams in New York City. I've been informed that I'm not going to be able to be on as long as I had intended. So I'm going to ixnay the Eric Adams A. Maybe I'll do that later on tonight. I'm sorry, tomorrow. But I will not be able to do that because I do have something that has come up. However, I do want to talk about this one in depth. So I do want to hear what you all are thinking. I am going to kind of move a little. I'm going to jump forward in my presentation because I do want to bring up a video that kind of explains something that I've been kind of pondering and thinking about, and I want to hear what you all are thinking about it. But before, what did y'all think about the video about Jeffrey? I did drop the link to this down in the chat. Hopefully you'll be able to check it out, and I'll drop it again just in case it wasn't already there. Honestly, I don't think he's guilty. I don't think so either. But if he is guilty, then just prove it. That's all I keep saying. Free Jeffrey. He's innocent. There we go. You thought it was powerful. I agree. Thank you so much. I can't agree with their premise. Okay. I appreciate it, Ray. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. And lots of good back and forth. Always appreciate it. I think he's innocent. Mistrial. And here's a link, by the way, if you want to see that video that we just played off of 11 Alive. Shout out to 11 Alive, a news outlet here in Atlanta. There's that link for that as well. All right. Thank you so much, Woman of Valor. Always appreciate you all's conversation back and forth. I think he's the messenger. He's not the criminal. Free Thug. I cannot agree better. Cannot agree more. Yeah, I think Fonny's using him. For sure. Even independent research, she said she don't even see the RICO. Glad y'all like that video. Check it out for sure. Shout out to 11 Alive News for that. Most definitely, because I thought that was very informative, very insightful. Now, I really wanted to, again, I had intended to talk about Eric Adams because there's a lot going on with Eric Adams. I wanted to read over and go over his indictment, but I wanted also to have a deep conversation about something that I've noticed as it relates to the hip hop genre and such of that nature. So this one is not going to be a fun topic because I think a lot of people they probably have thought about this as well. There's an idea and there's a notion that, and I've embraced it. Everyone knows, if you follow me, I'm originally from Illinois. As soon as I was able to, I left Illinois, and I have not made any attempts to go back. I went back last week to see my dad, and driving around town, it was very interesting to go around, but I had brought my niece with me. So she went up there with me as well. And she kind of checked it out, see where uncle is from and such like that. But she quickly understood why I've never gone back. since I've been here in Georgia for about almost 30 plus years, I probably have gone back to Illinois, to my hometown, 5 times. And that's including with my wife, that's including with my daughters. I don't go back. I don't go back at all. There's a TikTok, a YouTube short that summarizes why does Jason not go back to Illinois? And I want to kind of bring this conversation in and talk about the young Dolph case that we just watched yesterday. The young man in Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. He was unalived by people who are basically jealous of his fame. But then we also have the case down in Jacksonville, Florida, the Julio Fulio, a young man born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, in the gang life, still doing rap, all that kind of stuff like that, taking the rap game, taking the gang beefs and turn them into rap. And of course, he was unalived there. If you jump over to the West Coast, because I don't tend to talk about the West Coast very much, I wanted to look at a gentleman. His name was Nipsey Hussle. And again, a rapper. He was involved in a little bit of the gang life, a little bit as well, back there as well. But he was born and raised in LA, and he was deleted out there in LA. And I want to propose an idea, and I'm gonna bring somebody in to help explain it. Here's my idea. Certain people should leave their hometowns. You should not. Now, I know there are going to be people who contradict this, but I think they are more of the outliers than the actual rule. So you got like your T.I., sure. You have other rappers and other famous people in different areas that have stayed in their hometowns, sure. But follow me here. And I'm going to bring up this little quick clip. It's a very quick YouTube short that kind of breaks down what I'm thinking here, because I've always thought this. And when I ran across this, I'm like, oh, that's what it is. That's what I've been saying. You should not stay in your hometown, especially if you're in a certain, if you're trying to come up, especially like in this rap game. We'll use that as our basis for our discussion. I don't think you should stay in your hometown. And let's let this gentleman break it down. Shout out to the Angry Man.
So there's a
podcast.
content creator on TikTok that I watch quite often.
Wait, hold on one second.
So there's a
shout out to Angry Man podcast. Gives great social commentary and such of that nature. And he's going to break down this whole young Dolph case in a very quick 58 seconds. So let's let him do that. And then I'm going to come back and then we'll see what y'all think.
So there's a content creator on TikTok that I watch quite often. And he's stirring up a lot of controversy because he's saying that Dolph lost his life because of the way he lived. In other words, he lost his life because he was in the streets. And so everybody's up in arms about that. Well, let me say this. I disagree. First of all, Dolph sold trees. You ain't supposed to lose your life selling trees, okay? But the real reason why Dolph lost his life is because he stuck around Memphis and tried to help Negroes, just like Nipsey. What he should have did is he should have left Memphis and never looked back. That's the truth.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. What do you think? Just think about it. Like, let's look at the Jeffrey Williams story right here. Everybody around him were his friends, people that he was raised with. But the street, the Cleveland Avenue, the Zone 3, the Zone 6, it just kept calling him. He kept getting, if you go back and watch the trial, how many people are witnesses that were in the street life, that knew him, that were, childhood friends? Because my goodness, they were children in some of those clips. Is it possible, or maybe should, somebody who's on the come up leave their hometown? And I've said this even about Woody. I said this about Woody, that he should leave the area, get out of Mechanicsville and go somewhere else where everybody doesn't know his name. Well, sadly, Woody, probably everybody does know his name, but you get my point 100%, right? What do y'all think about the idea? Get out of the area. Get out of the area, because trying to help the people that are around you, that you were raised around, the children that were your peers and such, maybe that's what's pulling people down. Maybe that's what's dragging them down. Now, maybe you can still start a program that, you know, and send money and send support and send backing. But you yourself, as the artist, you yourself as the name, somebody used the term crab in a barrel, you're the one that's making that's getting out. Maybe you don't need to be in the area. And that's just something I thought about. And I ran across this today from Angry Man. Again, shout out to the Angry Man podcast. And I said, that's what I was thinking. Because if you look at what happened to young Dolph in Memphis, Tennessee, he was born, he was raised in Memphis, Tennessee. He knew them streets, and the streets knew him. Sure, he was a drug dealer, and he was selling weed. But as again, that's beside the point. He was trying to help his community. He was trying, and everybody who's testified about his life is saying, like, you know, he was helpful here. He was doing this, that, and other. He was providing programs here, this, that, and other for his community, which is all well and good. But maybe he should have been doing that from afar. Maybe he should have been doing that from, you know, Houston. What if he had moved to Dallas? What if he had moved to Atlanta? What if he had moved somewhere else and was just sending support or coming to visit every other month or something of that nature? What do y'all think? I did drop the link in the chat. If somebody wants to jump in, we got time, a little bit of time this morning. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, but I want to hear, what do you think about these situations? Because we've watched several. We're looking at the Young Thug case right now. We just concluded the Young Dolph case, the Julio Fulio down in Florida. That one's getting ready to get started. The Nipsey Hussle one, that one is done away with. But how many times are we going to see this person that is born and raised in an area, Grady baby, born and raised in an area, and never really leaves from that area? And granted, he or she is on the come up. He or she is making great strides and wanting to be helpful, but maybe they don't need to do that. Maybe they need to move away to be helpful and send support. Now, of course, I know somebody's going to say there's definitely outliers. I think T.I. right here in Atlanta is an outlier, in my opinion. He is an outlier because, keep in mind also, T.I. doesn't live where he was born. T.I. doesn't live where he was raised. T.I. does not live in the hood anymore. He's not in, now, granted, he might have rapped about it. He might have been involved in it. Same thing with Jeezy. Same thing with Gucci Mane. They're not living where they were raised. They're living somewhere else in Atlanta. And Metro's pretty big. We got lots of areas that they can go hide in. They're not living where they were raised. Jeezy is not living where he used to sell cocaine. That's not where he lives. So my point is, maybe they should leave from the area. And I want to hear what y'all are thinking. So let's give it a shot. Let's go. Let's go. He's speaking facts. 100%. Thank you so much. Leaving the hometown can save your life if you become successful. That's where your biggest haters will come from. Walking through girl sin. I hope I didn't butcher your name, but I hope we got the sentiment of what you just said. That is truth right there. That is it. That's exactly what, I mean, you summarized it. I can shut the whole live stream down. You just messed the whole thing up. Thank you. That was perfect. I was born in Jamaica. My mom brought me to the UK. There we go. Thank you. By the way, I want to say thank you for the memberships. I'm going to come by and talk about those in a second. But thank you so much. Sometimes you just got to move. You got to get away. And I'm just wondering, is that what happened with Jeffrey? He just didn't leave the area. He should have got away. Now, Atlanta, and maybe he needs to move further away. I hate to say it, maybe he should move to Chicago. Maybe he should have moved to, Massachusetts. I don't know. But Atlanta is only one of many. Move to Denver. Start a new rap scene in Montana. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's it. Is that possible? I dropped the link. If you want to hop on the camera, I hop on. I'd be happy to have you. All I ask is that you keep your camera on. Then, of course, there is no profanity on the show and that we stay on topic. That'll be dope, for real. All right. And actually, I'm glad you said that, Daniel Watcher, because I was actually going to use that passage. A prophet is not without honor except in his own hometown. Now, Jesus left. I mean, Be like Jesus. Yeah, lots of people are shouting out, walking through, girl. Absolutely. Look, I want Jeffrey to leave. I want all those cats to leave. Go away. Go somewhere else and learn a craft. Yesterday, we had Antonio pop in. I mean, another brother pop in. He used to be in the streets up in North Carolina. He went to jail for 10 years, got out, and he said, I could go back into this where I was making lots of money every day doing the wrong thing that got me put in jail, or I can just take this I think he said $8.25 job at Chipotle. He chose the Chipotle job, and now he's a CDL driver. He owns several trucks. Somebody is driving his truck, making money for him, and he's driving another truck, making money, and he's doing right. And so that's a great story. And if you missed that yesterday, it's on yesterday's live stream, as well as on my members. I made that video available for you all. I clipped it out for you all on my members. That's your members benefit. The reason I bring that up is the brother said, like, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy when you're used to making money like this, but you also subtracted you from your family, taking away 10 years of your life. 120 months is not something to wink at. And he said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take this $8.25 an hour job at Chipotle and make burritos until I can do better. And now he's doing way better. Shout out to him. So I think that's something that we need to think about and posture, like maybe getting out of the game is the right thing to do. And the game might be just the fact that everybody knows my name here in my town. Now, I wasn't born and raised here, so I feel comfortable. My hometown where I was born and raised, I'm like, I don't know a lot of y'all people here either, but there ain't nothing for me there. So run, Forrest, run. Usually people pull you down. You don't pull them up. And go back and look at this Young Thug case. Look at how many people this young man wanted to bring up. He was trying his best to bring a lot of people up. Maybe, just maybe, he wasn't going to be successful. Maybe what he was seeking to do was not going to be successful. And maybe therein is the problem. Yeah, there you go. A new place can help you focus yourself. I said that about Woody. I think he should leave Mechanicsville. Woody should leave. He should go somewhere where the Wi-Fi is bad and they got cows running around free range. Like, go to Utah or something. Just go away. Go away and get out of the game. Just get out of the game, because here is just too much. Everybody knows your name. The streets know you and you know the streets. That's not a good combination for somebody like that. I just think it wouldn't be good. It would be better. Somebody said he has to move his family. You know what? Take your whole family with you. If I move, I'm taking my wife and my kids. Okay. That's just gonna be reality. What we got here? What you got? What's up, friend? How are you?
Hey,
Mandy said, I can hear you. How are you?
sorry, my camera is not working because I'm on my 5G.
It's okay. How are you doing today?
I just wanted to tell a quick story about my brother and being in Charlotte, and I'm so glad that he moved away. I miss him every day, I really do. But he moved to California with his wife, and
Uh-oh, she dropped off. I know Mandy was having some technical issues, I think, and I think that's what has happened. I'm sorry about that. She dropped off. If she comes back on, I'll bring her back on. Now, you leave us on a cliffhanger. Your brother-in-law moved out to California, and then you drop. So we got to make sure you get you back in here. Thank you, Renee. I love this statement. If you want your children and family to succeed, you have to move. Yeah. I mean, gone are the days of staying in your hometown for 2 and 3 and 4 generations. I don't think that's a good look. I mean, one day I will expect president firstborn and chief executive secondborn to get married, and if their husbands want to move away, I'm going to have to accept that. I'm fine with that. Now, granted, they're not rappers and they better not marry no rappers, but you got my point. I'm okay with one day they're not going to be here, but that day don't have to come soon. Like, we're still fighting about where she wants to go to college. So Y'all pray for her. Y'all pray for President Firstborn because she got the wrong idea. Got to get her right. Pray for her. What happened here? Dang, iPhone making it hard for us to join, but we got it. Okay, thank you. Mixed chick, leave that iPhone alone. iPhone alone. Leave it alone. We ain't gonna turn this into a debate today. We're not gonna do that today. All right. Missy said, she said, look, I miss my brother every day, but I wouldn't bring him back here. There we go. My brother moved from our hometown and he lived in Bloomington, Illinois, which is southern Illinois, and then he moved to Texas. And he's doing fantastic. Now, we weren't involved in the streets, and the streets are not involved with us, but it was still a better move for him. Absolutely. Real quick, thank you so very much, Amethyst Angel. Just remember, wherever you go, there you are. Who are you? Absolutely. And I think that's true. It does give me, however, an opportunity to change, shake off some of that old stuff that I was a part of. Maybe if I come here, I can reinvent myself. If I move over there, I can be somebody different. I've always wanted to do something different, but the streets kept calling me. Now I'm somewhere else and the streets don't know my number. So now I can do something different. But it is on that person, because if you look, they got streets in Montana too. They got hood in Montana, just like they got hoods in Zone 6. So don't just think that you're going to be hood free if you go over somewhere else and you still got the hood in you. Thank you, Amethyst Angel, for the very kind $5 super. And welcome, Mixed Chick, to the copped yourself a membership. Welcome. As well as Gordon. Welcome, my friend. Grace and peace to both of y'all. Welcome as new members. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. What does Pretty Black Girl say? Everyone tries to use the LeBron factor to pull your friends up to help them, but that's not the norm. Amen. And I was doing, when I was doing a little quick research on this, I do understand the LeBron factor, but yeah, most people are not LeBron. Most people are the Jeffrey Williams. Most people are the young Dolph, or most people are Jason Whitaker. You might just leave with the shirt on your back and the family in the car. Let's go. It's not going to be me helping everybody else. And jealousy is real. Absolutely. It seems like the overall consensus, and I should have made a poll about this. The overall consensus seems to be, you know what? Moving is the right thing to do. And definitely in the light and the age that we're in today. Of course, our parents, maybe grandparents, they might have stayed somewhere, but my grandparents are originally from Mississippi on both sides. My mom's and my dad's parents are from different parts of Mississippi, and they both moved up north to different parts of Illinois and Minneapolis. But it was the right thing for them. They couldn't stay in the South. It just wasn't a good look. I'm glad that makes sense. Absolutely. Kim Possible, love the name. And I'm just wondering, from Bankhead to Buckhead. Okay, there we go. Now, I don't think Bankhead is far enough away. I don't think Buckhead, I'm sorry, is far enough away from Bankhead, but I totally get your point. I totally get your point. But maybe Buckhead, because I'm sure there's a Buckhead in Colorado. Go from Bankhead, Atlanta to Buckhead, Colorado. And now I think you're far enough away. At least a time zone. You need a little time zone, Mason, Dixie line, a little bit of seasonal changes. Because, here in Georgia, we only got like 3 seasons. But, that kind of stuff. You need some kind of bona fide change, in my opinion. Born in a RICO. I mean, technically, these cats are born in Zone 6. Maybe Zone 6 is Latin for RICO. I don't know. Maybe that's where it is. Maybe that's where RICO is, in Zone 6. That might be it. And I feel like I might have missed a conversation about if you don't have the resources to leave an area, and this is going to pick a fight. Look, and you know what? I'm here to pick a fight today. In 2024, hear me. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. You're going to have to convince me that with all of the safety nets that we have currently in play in America right now today, if you said, hey, I'm in Minneapolis or I'm in Detroit. I'm in Detroit and it is it's bad here. And Jason, I heard Jason, you know what? I want to move to Chattanooga. You're gonna have to convince me. And I mean by convince, we're gonna get a notepad, and we're gonna get maps, and we're gonna get on LinkedIn, and you're gonna have to convince me that you cannot within a year move from Detroit to Chattanooga, Tennessee. You're gonna have to convince me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's just too many, there's just entirely too many options. Now, if we rewind time to several years back or decades ago, I can probably understand what you're talking about. But here now today, there's entirely too many options available. So I'm not picking fights. Yeah, I am picking a fight. You're going to have to convince me that you cannot just say, you know what? Now, I'm not saying do it on the fly. I'm not saying move today and you're in Chattanooga by Sunday. Not saying that. What I am saying is, if you set a time limit, say, you know what? By this time next year, by the end of the summer, 2025, by Christmas 2025, we're going to be moved to Chattanooga. I'm going to have a job, have a place to live, school for the kids. We're going to know where the Walmart is. We're going to know where the Starbucks, all that kind of jazz like that. And have a church lined up, all that kind of stuff like that. You're going to have to convince me that you can't do that. I'm not trying to be mean, but if you wanted to, I think you could. And let's go back again. And I started this conversation talking about like Jeffrey Williams and Young Dolph and individuals like that. They weren't lacking those resources. So they themselves could have. Jeffrey Williams was more than able to do that. Get out of Atlanta. Young Dolph was more than able to do that. Get out of there. So that's just my little 2 cents. But you know what? You know whose 2 cents I want to hear? I want to hear Woman of Valor's 2 cents. How are you, Grace? You see, I did that.
How are you?
Segue King up in the building. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking, and I pray everyone's doing well. I just wanted to make a small comment. You know, the art of forgiveness, as far as Jeffrey Williams is concerned, I do believe that without forgiveness, he would not make it, because it seems like all his childhood friends kind of turned their back, you know, at some point. And so I'm grateful that, you know, he is a forgiving person.
I love it. Do you mind getting closer to your microphone? Because what you said was on the money.
Okay.
I just want to make sure everybody could hear it, because I don't want anybody to miss it. And what you said was fantastic. So real quick, just real quick, just to do a mic check.
Okay.
Tell me who you are and where are you?
I am Carrie. I am a clinical counselor. I live in Texas, in San Antonio.
Perfect. And you
Yes.
sound fantastic. So
Thank
now we're
you.
going to start this all over again, because what you
Okay.
said was on the money. And I want to make sure everybody on the cheap seats and the good seats can hear that. So now I'm going to pretend like I did my little segue. Woman of Valor.
Woman of Valor.
There we go.
Hi,
Welcome.
how's everyone doing? And so what I was saying was the art of forgiveness as far as Jeffrey is concerned. I do believe that if he wasn't a forgiving person, he would really have a tough time, even worse than what he's probably already going through. For the simple fact that, you know, his childhood friends, most of them pretty much turned their backs on him.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Do you feel like he would have, we would probably be having this conversation if he had moved maybe to San Antonio? Do you think we'd be having this conversation?
I don't think we would be having this conversation right now. I do believe that he should have moved. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, and I hate it because I know that area. Like I said, I used to teach there. I know exactly where Cleveland, I know exactly what they're talking about. And there's not a lot of opportunity. Like you do have to, and again, it's not for everybody. It's not that it's a surefire. Because if you move from Atlanta and you go to Chicago, I'm not guaranteeing you much. Okay, I'm not promising you much. But I do think if he had left, it might have been better for him. And he can still send resources. He can still
absolutely
start the, you know, Jeffrey Williams after school program or whatever that nature. Have a studio that you visit. But you
and
don't
thank God that
currently
he did flourish.
Yeah.
He did a great job, you know, and I'm really proud of him. But I think you're right on it. He should have moved.
Yeah,
And that's all I had to say, sir.
Well, no problem. I appreciate you stopping by. You are more than welcome whenever to stop by. And I don't know, I might need a clinical counselor. So I might need to call you and be like, look,
come on,
sit in my chair, help me.
That's all right. I'm here.
I love it. Thank you so much, Woman of Valor. Have a wonderful day. Grace and peace.
Thanks. You too.
Did I do it right? Okay, yeah. No, that was it. So I'm just wondering if this situation would be better if an individual, and shout out to Woman of Valor, who said, like, you know what, he was being forgiving. He's trying to, you know, reach out to his community, which I think is valid, which is extremely noble. And we hear it. We heard it with Brian Steele, that video that he did speaking to the young lady. He talks about all the things that Young Thug has done. You're really hard to convince me that this dude is just out here doing all that dirt that they're talking about, and also doing all this on the other side. It just doesn't seem like it doesn't make sense. Not saying it's possible, just saying it don't make sense. However, I do think he was forgiving, but I think he was forgiving to the fault that, you know what, I got to cut these people off. I got to maybe deal with them from afar, not because they're bad, but because if I'm involved in it, I might get caught back up. And I think that's what it is. Mika said that he left the area, but tried to help pull up people that were not for him. That's it. I'm saying, like, I think being disconnected from them, if I cut the connection between me and these people, and then I can look at them maybe differently and say, you know what, they ain't really for me. They ain't trying to help me, and they ain't trying to help themselves. They out there going to end up getting me in trouble, get me caught up, and they're going to drag me down. Yeah, NBA young boy did go to Utah, and now I got to remember that whole story. I don't know all the story, but I do know what you're talking about, mixed chick. And maybe we'll make it a longer. Maybe we'll look at like rapper. Maybe we'll do like a artists and entertainers that moved away from their hometowns compared to those that stayed in their hometowns. Maybe we'll do like a little review of that. That might be fun. Peter, I feel people are desperate for any help from citizens because government has no interest in helping. I agree. And if there was a means or a way, and you know, I'm gonna throw some shade at Fani because all that big talk that she was doing in those multiple press conferences about gangs and so on and so forth, she's done nothing to alleviate the gang problem outside of just putting people in jail in an overcrowded Fulton County jail. How smart is that? Nothing else is being done. So, you know, but I do think it is on the community primarily, because I think if you're waiting for the government to help you, you are going to have a problem. Abraham left his home. I see what you did there. Get out of Fulton County. Yeah. I mean, you know, for crying out loud, you can move from Fulton County, get out of Atlanta and go to Savannah. There you go. If you want to stay in Georgia, go to Savannah. Go to Albany. Go to Athens. That's where the University of Georgia is. And I mean, that's a beautiful place. I love Athens. That's why I want President Firstborn to go to Athens so I can go visit Athens a lot more. But I mean, that's a very nice place. It's 2 hours away from Atlanta. You can still go to the studio, all that kind of jazz like that, but you're not in the mix. That might be a little too close now I think about it, but you got my point. Birmingham, that's still 2 hours away too. There's not a lot of, you got my point. Shout out to it all. I like legal paralegal said, I want to feel missed. There you go. So legal paralegal is going to leave from wherever so that they missed. There you go. I love it. I like that. I love it. We watch YouTube. Gonna make sure you know. Look, Abraham left. Jonah left. I see. Follow after the scripts. Follow after the scriptures. I love it. Now, Shay says here, I think Jeffrey felt a sense of obligation to his community. He wanted those guys to do better than they did. They were all the same mindset they had maturing to do. Amen. And I think that is their problem. I think that everybody had the exact same mindset. So I don't know who it is. There's some author, and I read, you know, you're the sum total of the 5 people that you hang around the most. And if they all here, if they all failed out of high school, the likelihood of you being a PhD is nil. If they're all making 30,000, the likelihood of you making 130,000 is nil. However, if all of your friends are PhDs, then the likelihood of you becoming a PhD is much easier. If all of your friends are making 130,000, the likelihood of you making 130 is a lot easier. So I do think there's something to be said there. I just think that somebody had to break out the cycle. And since Jeffrey was the one that was definitely on the come up, he was the one, the name, I think him getting out of the mix. And again, you can still send a lifeline. You can still leave breadcrumbs of success. You don't have to just cut them off and never communicate with them. But on the same note, if they're all needing maturing, I don't know how they can all mature better if they're all at the same level together. But if you leave this area and you're like, hey, man, do you know there's another world? Like, for example, I tell the story all the time. When I came here to Atlanta, I had never been to Atlanta. When I first heard about Morehouse College, I was like, where's that? What is that about? I didn't know anything about Atlanta. I was that sheltered in my mind that I had never actually been. I'd come to the South. I'd never been to Georgia. I'd been to Mississippi and Alabama by that time. Yeah. But I didn't know anything about it. And I was totally blown away when I came here to Atlanta the first time. When I first saw this, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is amazing. And that was it. And when I went back to Illinois and sat down for coffee with my two elementary school friends, we joked about the fact, like Jason said, he was leaving and he never came back. Like when I graduated and was able to leave, that was it. That was it. It was a wrap. So I can understand it, but you got to get out of it, though, in my opinion. Truckers make good money. I've heard excellent things about that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, lots of good conversation going on. Yeah, and Les says here, that video of them when they were kids, which was probably like last Tuesday, let's be honest, they look really young. They need some leaders to step in and lead those kids' lives. Absolutely. No argument, no contention for me at all. By the way, I want to say thank you so much to Mandy. She was saying that her brother was running the streets, moving, saved his life, um, and he built a great career and life for himself. And I'm so proud of him, of who he is today. Thank you so much, Mandy, for the $4.99 super. I know you were having some technical difficulties. You know, you're welcome to jump back on whenever. And yeah, her brother moved, got out of the system. He had to get out of the system. And here, I'm gonna drop that link again just in case. Shout out to those who've already jumped on. If you want to hop in, I'd love to hear what you're thinking about this. I think this was a big eye opener for Thug as well. I pray that he's able to get out of it. I pray that this case goes in the direction that most of us think it should go, and that he's able to rebound from this and do something else with his life. But I think definitely unequivocally getting out of Zone 6, leaving the Atlanta area is going to probably be the right thing for him. Hey, legal paralegal. Well, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. My name is Jason. Jennifer, thank you for stopping through, Jennifer Lopez. I appreciate you. Thank you. I really believe that Jeffrey stayed to help the community. I don't disagree. I believe, and matter of fact, I think that he did help the community. I do believe that. That couldn't help him. Young man testified for him to show him a new life possible. And that's the thing. I think the problem was, yes, Jeffrey was able to provide phenomenal opportunities. How many of those up and coming rappers were involved in it, in his studio and such of that nature? How many of them? Lots of them. The thing is, I just don't think at the end of the day, he was going to be able to lift them up as much as they would. Not saying that they intentionally did it, but just the fact of where you're from drags you back down. I just don't think he was able to break the gravitational pull of where he's from, and therein is the problem. So, but no, great comment, and thank you so much. What do we have here? Woman of Valor, come on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the 1999 super chat. Great topics of discussion. Thank you. I was really wondering. I was like, man, they're going to jump on my head today. I said, they're going to get me for this one. I'm talking about y'all should get up out of your community and leave. I said, they're going to get me today. I'm glad, pleasantly surprised that many of you see it as I did. Not saying it's right because I said it. I was like, oh, they're gonna get me for this one. But I said, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. No, thank you very much for that. Well, I guess that's one way to move to the Army. Hey, I know many people who was caught up in the life that got involved in the military and he moved them around and all that kind of stuff like that. They had a totally different perspective when they came back to their hometowns, a totally different perspective, and they never went back to their hometowns. And it saved them. I mean, I think the military in some regards can save people. I'm just gonna say it. I think it definitely saves people. Oh no, for sure. And definitely not minimizing Amethyst Angel. I just want to say that I see this again. Definitely not minimizing. It is who you are. But if you want to change and you're like, man, I'm just stuck, maybe get away. Maybe that's a good look for you. Just get away. Go, go spend a year. I have a nephew. And I'm Black. So Black people love to adopt their friends' kids. So this is not a technical nephew, but I have a nephew, a friend of mine's son, who every winter or every summer, I forgot when it was, he would go to Alaska and work on a salmon fishing boat for like 4 or 5 months. It was the craziest thing ever. I'm like, why did you make that boy do that? You know what? He never got caught up in the foolishness here in Atlanta. It was like, again, I can't imagine that. Even now I'm thinking about it. Like, I need to get him on and ask him about that experience. I don't think he does it anymore, but he did that he did at least 2 years. He would go up to Alaska and work on a salmon fishing boat. Talk about getting out of it. And I mean, they're working crazy hours fishing. You know what? I'm gonna reach out to him and I will see if he'll want to come and tell his story. I thought that was really wild. Who's from Bloomington? Now, I am from Aurora. My brother left from Aurora and moved to Bloomington. Wow. If you are from Bloomington, that is when we say small world, we mean muy pequeño. Very, very, very small world. Because I don't know anybody from Bloomington. Wow. I don't even think my brother knows where Bloomington is anymore. Lord have mercy. Who is this coming in here? What do you want? Why art thou harassing me? Do you have work today? Or what time?
She hasn't too.
Okay. Okay, cool.
She hasn't texted me and told me I don't. So.
Okay, cool. We're moving in a second. All right.
But still, let me finish my hair.
All right, finish your hair. All right, President Firstborn. I told her I would take her to work because I don't know if there's any storm damage once we leave out the subdivision. So I said, I'll take you to work. That way we don't have any surprises because she's a new driver and I don't want her to get baptized in Georgia weather inadvertently. So there we go. Oh no, you don't have power. Well, thank you so much for stopping through. I'm sorry, Mandy. Let me see, make sure. Oh, okay. Let me hear. I'm so sorry. I did say it and I never did it. And you are correct. I need to poll. All right. Let's go. Let me make this poll real quick. Let me also, before we get ready to do this poll, this evening at 7:00, Doug Weinstein, Yak Gotti's attorney, will be on the channel. We're going to be talking about some stuff. I got some good questions for him, but I'm going to go over, we're going to do the poll questioning a little bit different. All right, this is a real basic question. All right, so I ask you all, so there's the poll question is up. Now, Doug Weinstein is on. If you're familiar with Doug Weinstein, man, he is an open book. He is just such a fun interview. I'm super excited about having him on tonight. So I asked the Discord community as well as you all for some questions, and I got some great questions. All right. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep my questions very above board. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to allow you all to ask. I know y'all got some heavy hitting questions. All my questions are just like, who is Doug and What brought you into law? That kind of stuff like that. I'm leaving all the heavy hitting questions, the more salient questions that you all want to ask. I'm going to leave those for you. So what we're going to do on tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, when Doug comes on, and I do apologize if I'm missing any questions. I'm just going to ask you all when you hop in, of course, make sure the question hasn't already been asked. Like, do you like Adrian Love? Would you kick, Adrian Love's cart if you could? Somebody's going to probably already ask that question, right? But jot your question down. You just write the word question. So I'm gonna give an example here down in the chat. I'm just gonna put question. I hope I spelled that right. Okay, there we go. Why did I capitalize that? What is wrong with me? I'll pray for your boy. All right. So this will be an example here. All right. This is a very basic example. And so tonight, while Doug is on, we'll just field in. I'm going to ask my questions. It's like, here's my question. Put the word question and then whatever your question is. So we'll field those questions between some of my questions about it. I got some good questions. A lot of you had some fun things that you wanted to ask Phil, a lot of fun things you want to ask Doug as well. So I've got some of those in to the mix, and I just want to get as much information out to you all as a community, because my goal is to add value to this discussion. And so by having Doug on here it's amazing that Doug said he would do it. He's super hyped to come on today. I should have asked him, would he come on now, since he ain't got no court? I know you ain't working, Doug. Come on over here. But he'll be on tonight at 7 o'clock. And so, oh no, y'all could be, most of y'all behave for the most part. Renee, I know you're going to behave. So yes. There is a question feature that you could use. What do you mean? Don't you tell me there's a question. What do you mean a question feature? Hold on. Is there, what are you talking about, Mo Justice? If there's a feature in StreamYard that I didn't know about, I'm all the way mad. And I might kick you out of here. No way. Okay, I want to hear about that. Please let me know if I'm missing something. Thank you so much, Mixed Chick. If you move, you also have to change your mindset. NBA Youngboy is a perfect example of that to me. You are correct. So again, it's not a silver bullet. If you move somewhere, that doesn't guarantee that you're not going to get caught up in the foolishness. Because if the foolishness is in you, and that's what Amethyst Angel is, that's what Amethyst Angel was talking about. Oh, it's in YouTube. But see, I don't know if it'll show up on here. That's what one thing I wasn't certain of. Does it show up on here in StreamYard? Because I'm in StreamYard and it's streaming into YouTube. Okay. Whew. I was like, man, don't do that to me. But I will look into it. Shoot me a text, Mo Justice, just in case I'm missing out on something. And see, you're already there. Walk through girl. I'm already there. I'm already there. You and me. I don't know who you are, but me and you right here, we're together. What she say? Doug's disposition dealing with QZ appeared as though he had disdain for him because he lied on Yak. Is that true? I'm gonna let you. I understand what you're saying. So, oh my gosh, these are great questions. Needless to say, there's even better questions I even already had. I need to activate this feature. Okay, so it will only question. Really? Okay. Now I gotta go look this up. Okay, so I'm gonna look into that. Oh, well, I can tell you this right now, Kenneth Wood. And I'm going to try to stay away from jury questions but simply because all of that kerfuffle with the jury hearing about the YouTuber had nicknames for him and stuff like that. I don't want my channel even associated with that. But I can tell you pretty clearly, it's a given that they know. All right. So far as I know, Kenneth Wood is juror number 72. Okay. But it's not as bad as I thought it was. So I must stay away from jury questions because, again, I just don't want the channel, Dear Woke Christian, associated with anything around the jury, just for that reason. Huh. Hold on. Okay. Real quick, let me look at this, what Monica's talking about. Because, Monica Mo Justice, she ain't setting me up for failure. Okay, the only two options I have, Monica, are start a Q&A or start a poll. So I'm not certain. We might be looking at something different, but I will look as soon as we get done. Y'all got some good questions. Okay, these are some great questions, and a lot of these are already in. I've taken several of them because if they were kind of the same, I kind of took all of them and crunched them together into a single sentence or single question that could encapsulate all of those. So there are S. Norman. I already kind of asked him about this, but if you don't hear that it's asked tonight, there's no problem, no question with asking that as well. So start a Q&A. Okay, so what is that? Okay, let me try this. Hold on. I've never done this. Start a Q&A. So I just did that. What does that do though? All right, I just dropped that in the chat. I want to see what happens. Oh, now I'm learning something. I do not speak Spanish. I barely speak English per my children because they don't follow my instructions. No, I don't speak Spanish. Doug, is the first time you use I'm almost certain it's not the first time he's used it. He seems like he has a lot of idioms, so I don't think that's the first time. How long will Doug be on tonight? I'm praying he'll be on as long as we let him stay. As long as the street lights are on. I mean, as long as the lights are on. He's coming on at 7. I didn't tell him how long, so let's just pray that he'll just stay on as long as we just sit here and chop it up. Doesn't make the question show. I don't see the question showing up. Oh, okay. So, okay, but it doesn't show up primarily on the screen. Okay, so okay, I see what it is. You're putting a question in here and it's popping up in a certain spot on YouTube where I can only see questions versus okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to play with that. So now,
Did my hair eat?
oh my gosh.
Did my hair eat?
Why art thou here? Goodbye.
Nah.
Goodbye. Yeah, I saw the test question. We watch YouTube. Why art thou harassing me? Does Doug think Whitaker is finally seeing love for who she is after hearing the audio tape involving QZ's father? I did not ask that question. I think that's a great question. Yeah, let's say that for tonight. I like that one. Don't tell her that, Renee. Please don't tell her that. Don't do that.
Did you hear Dave Maggie Smith died?
No, I don't even know who that even is. But I'm on a live stream. Live stream are lame. You're cool. I don't know about y'all. What did I do wrong? What do y'all think I did wrong? I don't know what I did. That tape was crazy. And the fact that she thought she was going to bring it in, or as the kids like to say, she thought she cooked with that. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That shows just how bad of a situation, how down bad she is, that she thought that was even a good idea. So, yeah, President Firstborn, she professes to be a rapper. I don't think that's happening. My kid is crazy, man. My kid is nuts. And now she's texting me. Why? She literally was just sitting right here and then she's texting me. I love that girl. I love that child. All right. That's my girl. Yeah, that recording did not help her. That recording did not help. I'm sorry that she even thought that was like, oh yeah, we can play this, instead of him asking, did they threaten you? Let me bring it on where the detective is almost cursing your father out. Let me bring that video. I mean, that audio in. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, now this is something I wanted to. We will definitely argue this. Will the Diddy trial be done before the Young Thug trial is over? We might have to do that on Saturday during the 3rd anniversary episode. I would love to hear what y'all think about that. Would the Diddy trial be over with before the Young Thug trial is over with? Because not only Dixie Doodle is saying the Diddy trial will be over basically before the state rests. That's what Dixie Doodles is saying. That is pretty audacious. Now that's audacious. Wow. That is pretty though I don't disagree with you. Let me just say that. I think you're probably right. But that would be pretty audacious. Okay, let me see it. Let's see this little question populating thing over here. It does populate. The questions are not okay. All the questions are showing up over here, but it will not allow me to put them on the screen. So that's what the difference is. So the questions that you all are putting in here, which are great, they're all populating over here under a tab in YouTube. But kind of like this one right here, Doug, do you feel the trial moving along quicker than with Glanville? Okay, I don't see that question over here. Why is that? That's so weird. Okay, I'm gonna have to play with this. I might do like a little I'm gonna end this because I don't it's like the questions are not all the questions are populating on YouTube. I don't know how that works. So this question right here was not there. I didn't see this one. But well, I mean, I can't argue with that statement. I can't argue with that statement. It's definitely a different type of approach. But you know what? Let me be honest. Let me be honest. I went back and watched Adrian Bean. That was the guy who said that he was so high. Remember that? Okay. Now, my contention with the state has been when they're presented with a roadblock, they don't seem to be able to move around it or change of course or change of approach or anything like that. Now, I watched the video just before we came on today where Adrian Bean is in the booth and Brian Steele is interviewing him. And this is where he's telling the judge that y'all trying to assassinate me. I'm trying to get out of this. I lost my job. Y'all put my phone number out there. That whole diatribe. And I don't know why, I was always thinking that it was Adrian Love that was examining him. And I don't know, I just never paid attention. And I was watching it again, and I was going to bring it in, and I was like, wait, that's Brian Steele. And the guy says, I don't remember anything from 2013. I don't remember 2013. I don't remember. And Brian Steele says, I got to ask you about 2013. He says, I don't remember about 2013. And then Brian Steele says, do you remember on such and such a day in 2013? You know what? It must be a lawyerism or whatnot. So it's not just Adrian Love. Brian Steele, most of us are Brian Steele stans. We think Brian Steele is doing a great job. But even in this example here, and I'm not gonna bring the video in because I do need to get moving. But I keep saying I'm not gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it because I'm a glutton for abuse. But he's literally saying, like, I don't remember anything. And then the guy keeps asking him about the exact same thing. So it's not just Adrian Love. I know a lot of us are not, we're definitely not Adrian Love fans. And I agree with you on that. Here it is right here. All right. All right, it is super short. Let me bring it in. All right, y'all. Okay, and I promise you, I'm not gonna. This is not gonna be long. All right, but I just want to show you this because it's not just it. And again, I know we're not like this is not the Adrian Love fan club here. Hey, I know that guy. Why does he have that giant logo next to his head? This guy. I pray for that dude. All right. Real quick. We'll see. Not only going to be absent, in prison, absent from their lives, the wealth that they might have changed, the direct.
I mean,
one in the chat.
Basically, y'all keep asking me, do I recall this and recall that, remember this from 2013? I don't remember that from 2013. I keep telling y'all that. That has been my statement since I got here. Your Honor, I've been telling y'all, people constantly hit me with this, keep constantly asking me this and that and third about what's going on in 2013 or whatever. I don't remember. I don't know nothing about 2013. All I can tell you is y'all got my name on a recorder, my phone number on a recorder. These people threatening me. They called on my phone. Your Honor, I done lost my job. I got a lot going on behind this here. I put all this behind me, sir. Everything that had going on with me, I put everything behind me and kept moving on about my life, sir. Your Honor, I can't continue to keep going on like this. I don't remember nothing from 2013, sir.
Mr. Bean, you have to answer the questions, okay?
I constantly keep telling them and constantly keep telling y'all I don't remember nothing from 2013.
I'm going to ask you because I have to lay a foundation. Do you remember telling Detective Quinn on September 17, 2013 on recording that you add a little more height when you speak with your wife and them from the jail, that you lied to them?
I remember y'all trying to assassinate me right now in 2024. That's what I remember. That's what I remember. All this going on right here on this, got me up on this stand, talking about this and that third, all this and extra stuff that's going on. Your Honor, am I on trial, Your Honor?
Sir, you just have to answer the questions, unfortunately, at this point in time, okay? That's all I can tell you.
Am I on trial?
No, sir, you are not on trial. But you have been properly summoned here as a witness, and you're subject to examination until I release you.
I never consent to do none of this, sir. I ain't signed nothing. My name ain't on nothing. They come get me. Y'all don't threaten to lock me up. Hey, I got a family too. I mean, come on, y'all. I done told y'all I don't remember nothing from 2013. Come with these conversations. Hey, remember we was in front of the house? Conversation we had in front of the house before we went to the Kroger? Keep it 100, man. With yourself.
I can't hear you, Mr. Bean. Can you take your mask off if you wouldn't mind?
Keep it 100 with yourself, not me. We had a conversation in front of the house.
Yeah.
Before we went to the Kroger.
Yeah. You asked to go to the Kroger.
I never agreed to do none of this from the beginning. Before we even had this, what you just played.
Mr. Bean.
I keep telling y'all I remember that for 2013. I didn't really remember that then.
Mr. Bean, who threatened to lock you up?
Sir, I talked to Your Honor. Your Honor, tell you something.
Sir, answer.
Am I on trial for anything? Can I be excused, Your Honor, for anything or something? Because I really don't understand what's going on. I don't remember. My head hurt. They keep asking me questions about this. Keep asking me questions about that. About 2013, I don't remember.
No, you can't be excused at this point in time, Mr. Bean. You have to be. You're subject to examination. I
don't remember.
Who you just told the jury, the Honorable Judge Glanville, and all of us that you've been threatened to be locked up.
I didn't consent to come get on this stand to be a witness, first of all.
Who threatened you to lock you? Lock you up means go to jail.
There wasn't no threat. The subpoena go out. They say you don't show up, they're gonna lock you up, you go to jail or whatever, and all this little extra stuff like that right there. I ain't here to point fingers at nobody, say nothing like that. That ain't my job.
You just said
it ain't for me to mention what nobody got going on in their life. I got my own problem.
Who threatened you? You just told the jury that you've been threatened.
I done had all kind of threats, man. Y'all just explored my whole phone number on to the world. People calling my phone right now threatening me, texting my phone. I ain't had no sleep. I've been up all night since yesterday, 7 o'clock, from 7 o'clock yesterday to 6 o'clock this morning. Still getting calls. Still getting texts. That's my personal line y'all just gave out. On live to the public, to the whole wide world.
Who threatened to put you in jail, Mr.
He's answered that question already, Mr. Steele. Let's move on from that.
Do you remember telling Detective Quinn on September 17, 2023, that when speaking on a jail recorded lines for your wife, I'm visualizing the story, trying to make it all one. You know what I'm saying? I ain't telling them a lot. A little shenanigan be bold blank. Remember saying that?
Ms. Love already asked me 1,001 questions. I told her I don't recall nothing from 2013. I don't even recall the conversation really that me and you even had. If somebody else push up on me, ask me questions, let somebody else come to. I give them a story too. Everybody won't keep asking me questions. I'm gonna move on with my life, man. I ain't got time for these games. Y'all done assassinated me, man. Hey, it's about time for some actions now.
Do you remember?
I'm all on all these blogs, all these channels, my face all over the news, everything like that. Keep on asking questions. I'm telling you, I don't recall.
There's so much, like, just example. How in the world do they expect, if we are, I don't like that guy. That guy's not able, that guy with that big old logo. I don't know about that logo, man. We got to do something about that guy. I'm gonna fire that guy. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting because I don't know why. I was thinking it was only the state that just ignored what people said, but it was Brian Steele right there. You heard Brian asking him the exact same questions. It didn't seem like he would move off of it or take it another direction or anything of that nature. Maybe there's some legal reason for why they have to do it like that. But that was Mr. Bean. I'll have to find the actual long clip. I'll drop this video in here. It was my video on whether or not Judge Glanville intimidated a witness. I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, here we go. And so the reason I bring that up is I know we're not all team Adrian over here, team Simone, but it's not just them that do it. It was even the defense would do that kind of stuff where they would just kind of keep going back over the exact same things. And somebody says, I don't remember 2013. They're going to keep asking about 2013. Like, my guy, I don't remember what happened in 2013. That was 11 years ago. Why are you still asking me? So, yeah, so I just think that was very interesting. There's a link for it if you want to check it out, and ask why they got that big gigantic logo in there. It's bigger than his whole head. Why did he do that? I don't know what editor Jason was smoking. Anyway, I appreciate y'all so much. Again, this evening, stop sharing that. Okay, this evening we will have Doug Weinstein on. I'm really excited to have him on and introduce him to this community. We've been definitely, a lot of us been following what he's been doing for the YSL trial and for Yak Gotti specifically. So I really want to give you an opportunity to ask your questions. Preferably you'll be able to field a lot of those questions in and get some back and forth and give you a chance to see a little bit more about who Doug Weinstein is. And if you are a legal mind and you would like to commentate or add some color commentary, kind of like my good friend Mo Justice in here, as well as others that are here, shoot me an email, dearwokec@gmail.com. You can always, and if we can work it in and make it happen, we will definitely do that. There's my email. I appreciate everybody that asked me about the storm. Everything is fine here at Whitaker Park. It was just super rainy last night. No water damage or anything like that. I haven't been outside today, but I'm getting ready to take President Firstborn to work, so I'll check then. But it was just super rainy. Lady Dearwood Christian is in Boston, so she'll be back later on tonight. Her flight was delayed, or they put them up in a hotel because of the storm, so she's just hanging out, chilling while I'm out here with the kids, roughing it. So pray for your boy. But yeah, I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Tonight we'll have Doug on. Tomorrow, Saturday, we're gonna be celebrating 3 years on YouTube. Come on by. We're gonna have a good old time. We got a lot of fun things planned for. So that should be an enjoyable experience. It's gonna be 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern Standard Time. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the new members. Thank you so very much for Woman of Valor, for the very kind, very gracious 1999 super. And I might have missed this. I'm sorry if I didn't. Oh, okay. Mixed Chick, thank you so much for the $4.99 super as well. Mandy, thank you for the $4.99. Always appreciate you, Amethyst Angel, for your great insight and perspective. And welcome to our new members, Mixed Chick, as well as Gordon. Thank you both for joining us here. It should be a fun night tonight. So please come ready to have a good conversation with Doug and such like that. Who knows? Maybe we'll have, maybe, just maybe, Doug is really adamant about this whole use of rap lyrics. Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to just possibly make Doug Weinstein write a rap. Maybe. Stay tuned. So that's going to be fun. I have some shenanigans planned. We got a lot of shenanigans planned. But we will do it nonetheless. The Honorable Doug Weinstein, what is the difference between civil and criminal, and which do you like more? Actually, I have this question. I believe you sent it to me in Discord. I have this question ready tonight because I thought that was a great question. So I'm put a star by it, just double check it. But I'm almost certain I have that question ready for tonight. Dougie Fresh. It's gonna be Fresh Dougie. We want no copyright. But so yeah, that's gonna be tonight. Y'all, thank you so much. I really do appreciate all of y'all for this. Thank you so much for hanging out and chopping it up with me. Feel free, again, shoot me an email down in the comments below. If anything else comes up, you want to add some commentary about whether or not you should or you shouldn't move from your hometown, let me know what you're thinking about it. If I didn't answer your question, I didn't comment on it, please let me know, and we'll look at it. We'll look at it next. So thank y'all again. It means a lot to me that y'all chop it up with me every day. So let's do this again this evening, 7 o'clock. And until then, everybody, grace and peace. Take care.